And we are live.
Hey there, welcome to Hey Mando. I am Kyle Souza, and with me is Ryan Ray. Ryan, what did we watch this week?
I mean, I watched a lot. How far back we going? Well, today's Sunday, so really not that much. We talking about like since the last episode, or just today, or tell me because this is a loaded question, Kyle.
It is a loaded question, but it also segues very nicely into something that I usually forget to say, which is spoiler alert on
Oh,
anything and everything of
and everything.
every episode of The Mandalorian, past, present, and future, everything Star Wars, and everything not Star Wars also.
Okay, you talk to the audience and tell them about where they can find the podcast stuff. I got something to show you. So you tell them
Oh,
Spotify, all the stuff, and like, subscribe, and I'll be right back.
okay. So now that Ryan's gone, I'm going to tell you all the secrets. No, I'm just joking. What we would love is to hear from you guys and girls who are listening and watching. You didn't give me enough time. You're too quick. You're too quick.
Move fast for fat. Okay.
Yeah. It's like Kevin James. All right. Wait, let me finish telling people. Check out Outpost 23 on YouTube, outpost23.net for more from Ryan, thetalkinggeek.com for more from me, and the Hey Mando podcast feed on Spreaker and iTunes and other podcast places for the audio only version of this podcast. You can watch this live. Ryan, are you choking?
Sorry, I was dying. It was like off the microphone, wasn't it? I hope
it was muted. I mean, the listeners appreciate it, but I was still concerned. These are the things you miss out on the audio only version, but on the video version, you must suffer through my face. So, yes, take some water. That's good.
Give and take. Also,
right.
on Spotify, right, Kyle?
Yes, it's on Spotify. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on Deezer, I think. Whatever. It's on all the places.
All the places. Okay.
So what'd you find? What do you got?
I don't know if you can. I hope you can't read this. You know what this book is?
Okay. Yeah, we've got. I don't know what that book is. We got a Jedi holocron. We got a lightsaber. We've got.
Let's see if I get the light to hit it right.
Secrets of the Jedi.
Boom, boom, boom.
That looks like an official canon book based on the artwork and who's on it.
No, I drew this over the weekend. I was just like, you know what? It was kind of plain. It was a plain yellow. And I thought we'd lighten it up a little bit, so I took it and just pinned it up a little bit. So nothing major, just spare time. Yeah, Lucas should do better. Yeah, I got this in the mail on Friday, and so I'll read a small snippet here. Introduction. The Jedi Order is dead. Okay, anyways, so there you go. Be sure to check that out.
I like it. They really start you with some good news.
So I'm assuming, based upon that introduction, that's literally all I've read the book. Like you witnessed it when I did it. You experienced it like I experienced it. That's the first time I opened it. I take that back. I might have opened it. No, first time I opened it. I got it on Friday. Hadn't got a chance to mess with it, and that was it. The Jedi Order is dead. I'll give you one more. All that's left now are legends. Cutscene.
Interesting. All that's left now are legends. I wonder if it's going to talk about the legends stories at all.
I don't know. It's not a very big book. I mean, well, okay. Let's read it. Big. It's a big book, but it's not a very thick book.
Right. It's a very tall 20 pages.
20 might be aggressive.
That'd be funny if it's just like the Solos never had twins, and it's just like a story debunking everybody's favorite story arcs from the EU.
Oh, wait, as I flip through here, look who I see. Let's see here. This camera's backwards, so it messes me up.
We got Yoda, a young Yoda.
It's a Yaddle, isn't it?
Oh, is it Yaddle? Yeah.
Okay.
Her ears are different. They do go down like that.
Yeah. Sorry, that's great for the communist. That's great for the audio listeners. I know. I apologize, but be sure to check it out on. Oh boy, that's just that.
I'm gonna make my screen bigger. I'm also very grainy. Another thing that our audio listeners have to deal with, the graininess of my video tonight.
Yeah, I just coughed in the mic. So we are off to a fantastic start to the show. Anyways, Kyle, I watched The Mandalorian season 1, episode whatever it's supposed to be, 4, I believe.
Chapter 4, yes.
Yeah, so I've coughed in the mic. I've showed a book for an audio podcast. We're doing fantastic. I hope that answered your question.
It does.
I do have at the end of the show, at the end of the podcast, the show, whatever. I do have something I've thought about. I wanted to just roll it out live for you on this podcast about the Mandalorian versus another show and how it can improve the Mandalorian. But go ahead.
Is this why you haven't been talking to me all week? Because you couldn't contain it, and so you had to wait till the podcast because you knew if you talked to me sooner, then you would let it slip.
Will this keep you less mad at me by saying yes?
It's quite all right either way.
Okay.
My feelings aren't hurt.
I called you back.
You
Once.
did. You did.
You called me back twice.
I mean, you're counting, not me. It's all good.
You're not counting publicly.
That's all good. So yeah, this was Sanctuary. Now, this is the first episode that doesn't have "the" in the title, and one of 2 episodes in season 1 that doesn't have "the" in the title. And I think it's really interesting that here in Sanctuary, again, spoiler alert, Mando is running away, and the other episode where the word "the" is not in the title is Redemption from chapter 8 at the end of the season. And that's one where he stands his ground. And we saw like the sequel trilogy versus the prequel trilogy. Lucas really wanted to juxtapose those, and he called it poetry, that they rhymed, so to speak. And so I think this, whether intentional or not, is a pretty good instance of that. And based on the people running the show, I think it might be intentional doing something like this.
Once again, your wisdom is, did you write this book? Did you write this?
No, I wish I could write a Star Wars book, but unfortunately, you have to have their permission to do that.
So looking through the titles real quick. So as you say, there's The Mandalorian, The Child, The Sin, Sanctuary, The Gunslinger, The Prisoner, The Reckoning, Redemption.
Mm-hmm. So in this one, he's running away, and the other one, he's standing his ground. No.
So, right. And so the would be in season 2. Let's see, season 2, we have The Marshal, The Passenger, The Heiress, The Siege, The Jedi, The Tragedy, The Believer, The Rescue.
Yeah, see, they're all these things.
Mm-hmm. So does your theory hold or not?
I think so, because he's not really running away from anything in season 2.
Okay.
Like he did in this first season.
So the indicates you're not running away in Star Wars.
Well, I think that they just want those 2 episodes to be compared to each other. I think they wanted this one to be compared to the end. This midpoint episode to be compared to the last episode of the season.
You're tuned in.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. It could all just be made up in my head.
Well, it's definitely made up in your head. Whether it's factual or not, it's a different conclusion.
Fair enough. So this was, like you said, chapter 4, the 7 samurai. I mean, hold on. Sorry. The 2 samurai. I mean, Sanctuary. Okay, so again, spoiler alert. This is based on this kind of storyline, right? Based on an old Japanese film, 1954, which was actually, a lot of people don't know this, based on a season 2 episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, episode 17, is what they were looking forward to in Japan. So you may recall in the Clone Wars that they did a much more direct take on the 7 samurai, as they had 3 Jedi and 4 bounty hunters helping some Felucian farmers fend off Hondo and his crew of smugglers. So, and we all know, having watched the Star Wars films and hear Lucas talk, ripping off old stories is not a new thing.
No,
definitely not. So it's in keeping with Star Wars tradition. They're doing this one again.
Agreed. You have once again left me speechless, sir.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of things I say that have no response, because why would he have said that in the first place?
It's like so again, you are like, Yoda level. I am Grogu level. Okay, that's kind of the discrepancy here.
No. You cut yourself short there. But Okay, so this one opens really different. Like I didn't do it this time because I'd already seen it, but the first time I watched this, I actually backed out of the episode and was like, "Hold on, did I select the right thing, or was I on like Planet Earth?" Because Nat Geo's part of that Disney Plus package.
Mm.
I'm not hearing Morgan Freeman, but what's going on?
Something's afoot.
Yes. So I thought it was a really cool, visually really cool start to it. I thought, man, poor farmers eating krill all the time. That sounds terrible. And then we got the Clatoonians. For the record, I don't like seafood. Just want to make that clear.
It's really tough.
And that is canon truth.
The seafood or being your friend?
The seafood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Me having friends are simply legends.
Oh, we're getting Colin rare form tonight. This is gonna be a good show.
Thank you. That's what happens when the more tired I am, the looser I am with these things. Let me know if I go too far. Just
no, please continue.
All right. So then we get some Clatoonians attacking. All right, Clatoonians, fun crowd, not really, bad guys, and that's kind of our intro. It has nothing to do with anything else. And then we get the intro, and then it goes to Grogu and Mando in the cockpit. Before we talk about that, you have any comments on that opener?
No. It took me a second to figure out why are we doing what we're doing again. It's one of those things like, okay, wait, hold on, what? This here goes Ryan on a soapbox. This is kind of the fatal flaw for me with the show. It's like, okay, if I didn't spend 4 hours prepping for the show, would I remember exactly why we're doing? It's like, okay, he got Grogu, he left Grogu, he got Grogu back. Now they're going to live a peaceful life somewhere, maybe. I think what's going on. Is that what's going on in this episode? That was the purpose of what we're seeing.
The plan is to at least lay low somewhere.
Right. And so it kind of at the beginning is like, okay, well, I'm not being kind of serious. Like, okay, wait, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I was like, okay, I get it now. I remember where we're going. Yeah. Are you familiar with this planet in general that they went to?
No, I believe this planet was created for the purpose of this show.
Okay.
Okay, so in the cockpit, I think we get some pretty good uses of silence. I really connected with Grogu there, where he is just purposely annoying Mando.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say that you really connected when the characters are silent. Like you really appreciate people who don't talk. I thought that's where you were going.
I mean, I do. I do appreciate that as well. That's what I said. It's a good use of silence.
Good use of silence. Yeah. It's one of the things I thought this episode brought out, and it started with the cockpit thing, and it's through the episode. And again, seeing the end, coming back to the show. This is why I love spoilers, people. This is why, because it helps you pick up the stuff for dense people like me. Is that the dad themes is there, and it's it's very prominent. And the first time, I'm slow. I get it. I'm slow. I didn't really catch on to that. I've said I watched this episode a lot because my little girls love it. I don't know why. I don't know if they love this one or this.
There's a lot of Grogu playing with kids.
I think that's probably the thing. But so I've seen it a lot, but that theme never caught on to me. And how did I miss he took his stupid helmet off? But anyways, we'll get that in a second.
I thought about that the first time too. But yeah.
Well, we have talked about stuff a lot. I'd forgotten that he did that, and so watching this, he's like, "Oh yeah, duh." But anyways, so
there's a lot of Grogu idolizing and mimicking Mando in this episode.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, so the father son thing is there. That really gets picked up with Ahsoka Tano's episode in season 2, which is basically the same episode, not the same episode, but the same. It's the 4th episode or 5th episode of season 2. It's right there.
I don't remember now. I know you just ran through the list. I want to say the 5th episode.
Yeah, it's the 5th, so it's one after this one. Okay. But it's again the midpoint of the season is that father connection is really being pounded home. So I thought that was kind of a good balance between season 1, season 2, and where season 2 ends up at. Is that they're doing a good job of laying this foundation here. And the other thing I thought about was going back to the pilot episode. It's a cruel world. It's a tough place to live. It's a tough place to make a living. It's a pretty spot to live in. Like if you were going there, it's one of those spots that you might go on a jungle safari. You're like, oh wow, this is really great, only to find out that the villagers are like super impoverished, and you don't realize it, because that like if it was on Earth. And so I thought it kind of picked up on that theme that we've seen is being woven into really the fabric of the series, which is the galaxy. We've seen the highs of the Jedi living for 9 episodes more or less, and obviously they're in some tough spots here and there, but more or less they're on ships and doing cool stuff. That is not the galaxy far, far away. The galaxy far, 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 far away is a tough spot to make a living, especially in the Outer Rim. 1, 2, 3 touch on it some. The Clone Wars picks up on it some more, but this is really pounding that home, and I've gotten to where I appreciate that more because it gives more texture to the galaxy. Sorry.
No, that's good. I think those are all great points about Sorgan and the universe at large. Sorgan there is the planet. We see Mando. He talks to the kid kind of like he's a pet. He's like, "You're going to stay here. Stay."
Yeah. Okay.
We see a Loth cat, which this is not the only time we see a Loth cat in the Mandalorian.
That's it's the season 2 with the Ahsoka episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, this is like a parallel Ahsoka episode, I think.
Again, we got that poetry rhyming, right? So we got some of that going on, which makes me wonder, like, why are people exporting Loth cats? Are they just that awesome of a pet? I don't know. We didn't see them till Rebels in canon or in the story.
Yeah, I mean, Coruscant seems to be a kind of a highfalutin place, so
yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe they catch
Sorgan. The Outer Rim in Rebels as well.
Let's see, Lothal. I don't remember the exact placement of Lothal.
I'm just saying, because in Mandalorian,
I don't think it's Outer Rim. It might be Mid Rim for Lothal. I mean, it could be Outer, but I don't think it is based on the heavy Imperial presence.
Okay, yeah, I just wonder if it's an Outer Rim type species or anything else.
Maybe. I mean, and just because it's called a Loth cat doesn't mean that it didn't, come about on other planets. However that works, it's very mysterious in Star Wars how all these things happened. You get into the Forerunners and all that kind of stuff, but that's anyways. Let's see. So Mando goes to this trading outpost or whatever, this one restaurant, right? And I think he wanted to pay the lady for information about Cara Dune, and she just like, wow, this is a great tip. See ya.
Yeah. Didn't turn out how he thought it was, did it?
No, I think he was like, oh, she's playing hard to get. She doesn't know anything about this lady. Maybe if I slip her some credits. And she's just like, cool, I'll get your food. And then he pays her extra to take care of the kid. I would have thought that would have been enough to take care of the kid too. Apparently it wasn't, though, because she did a terrible job.
Well, when she mistook what was happening. Maybe he thought, you know what? Instead of saying, "Hey, I've already given you this money, I want you to do this," he's like, let's just to be clear here, precious cargo. Need you to watch it. Just saying.
There, so he starts fighting the Cara Dune outside. This is our introduction to her. She's a ex-rebel shock trooper.
Yeah, that's real quick. This question, Kyle. You are a rebellion dropship fighter guru. Okay, right. And the war's over. Okay.
I'm trying to imagine being that cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for me to trust me. Okay, let's say like you're like the IT guy on the ship. Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, that I can do. Yeah. What else? Sorry.
Okay, and the war's over, but the Empire still has major footholds on a lot of planets. And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go retire somewhere. Look, here's a billion planets. Would you not try to find a planet without Imperials on it?
So I think that she did. I have some notes on that. I think she found a planet without Imperials.
Does it have Imperial machinery?
Yes, I think so. So I think that the ATST that I don't think that the Klatooinians were Imperial. I think that there had been an Empire base, an Imperial base on this planet, and that's how she knew about it.
Okay.
And then it was simply raided by the Klatooinian raiders after it had been deserted or left scarcely populated, and that they just took the weapons and machinery from it for their own nefarious uses.
Okay. Okay. I can do that. I can live there. I can live there.
That's what I'm thinking.
That works for me.
That's what I'm thinking. Now, this lady, though, she is punching Mando straight in the Beskar, not breaking her hand.
Thank
Somehow.
you. Thank you. Is the Beskar like soft 24 hours after it's been formed? Of course, the helmet was old, but like, it's soft, and so you can hit it over it.
Seeing him in the stomach, all these things, I was like, how? I would have punched him and just been like, oh, you win.
I would have thought she punched him. Yeah, she punched him. Her hand didn't break. He's like, hold on 1 second. Are you human, cyborg? What's like before we do this? Yeah, I need to know, like, how did you just survive that blow? Because as you say, she punched him over and over again and knees him a few times, and you're like, that Beskar all is cracked up to be. Just saying.
Yeah. Apparently it can repel blaster bolts, but not from these guns. Sorry. I held up my arms like I had muscle mass. Just
Sorry.
Thank you, studio audience. Fantastic. Okay, so they talk. He buys her some soup, and like any gentleman should do after trying to kill a woman.
Yeah, be good. Yeah.
And then she's like, "This planet is taken," or she tells him he has to move on. He's like, "This planet." I was like, "It's a big planet."
Big planet. How big are these planets?
Yeah, and she even says she's seen smaller planets later. One thing that annoys me about this episode, which overall I like, but what thing that annoys me is this right here, where she's like, "You have to move on." He's like, "This planet's taken," and then later she's like, "Oh, this planet's not too small. You guys need to move someplace else." And then by the end of it, she's telling him he should stay. What happened to the planet being too small for the two of them?
Yeah. So
I get it, the Western, but come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think this is kind of the you have to take the characters as liars, not literals, And I'm not saying like she's intentionally lying as if this planet's not, it's more of this planet ain't big enough for both of us. And it's like, it's a planet. Like, it's not big enough. Like, this isn't great.
There.
Yeah, right. And so it's one of the things in Star Wars you have to be careful with, and I'm guilty of it too. Because like, oh, this is really stupid, but it's just they're liars, not literals, and not like she's intentionally lying. She's just you can't take her literally. So, but yeah, I found that kind of like, I mean, you went from one village to the next that you didn't even know existed in the episode, and you found that they have Imperial weapons there. Like, maybe it's big enough for both of you because you didn't even know this was going on. Just maybe. So,
I concur. We see Mando continuing not to learn his lesson as he just leaves his ship in the middle of nowhere again.
Well, okay, so a question. Help me understand this. So he lands at Village A, where the bar pub rules at, right?
Trading outpost, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. He walks to town, presumably, because he didn't have his jetpack. Gets in a fist fight, has beans or porridge or soup or what it was, leaves, walks back to the ship. At that night, the villagers from this remote village walk up and creep up on him. Then they take like a day-long journey to ride to the village. Did I get that timeline right?
Yes, they saw him coming. I think when they saw his ship come, they took off immediately. Those two guys did. Because we see the scene where they see his ship coming in overhead. And they say that it took a day, when at first he turns them down, they're like, oh, a day's journey wasted.
Okay. Okay. See, I didn't.
A day's journey isn't 24 hours. A day's journey is going to be somewhere between 6 and 14 hours, depending on your work ethic.
About the Swedes?
I think they got some good work ethic. They're farmers, whatever.
Yeah, you're Europeans.
Yeah. They're Sorgonians.
Exactly.
Though I wonder who's watching the ship. The lady that couldn't keep track of the kid.
Listen, his is a tracker, which we're going to get to in a minute. His tracker is impressive. But go ahead.
So, and we did get to see the kid mirroring Din on the ride where, Din lays back and then the kid's like, oh, I'll lay back, which is exactly what kids do. It's great to see.
Right.
As a father, that's.
Yeah, and it plays into the father-son thing that they really pound home in season 2. You kind of see it there, but he's still, because something happens later on, kind of viewed as a quasi pet, as you said, kind of a nuisance sometimes. He's the father-son thing is really more apparent to everyone in the universe that sees this relationship, and then the viewer is supposed to pick up on it. But I'm as slow as Mando on picking up on that. At least I was the first pass through.
Well, and like my youngest daughter didn't watch this whole episode, but she watched part of it, and she's like, "Is that the guy that owns Grogu?" I was like, "Well, he doesn't own him." She's like, "Well, then who owns him?"
Who owns it? Right, because he kind of comes off as a pet.
Yeah.
Listen,
not slave.
let's just be quite honest. If there was Grogu's on Earth, I'd own one. That sounded probably more malicious than it meant to. But go ahead.
I would want one. I will say that.
Whatever that means. Own,
whatever. I'd rather not own another sentient being. But okay, Spotchka.
Listen, we both know owning Grogu is only going to last as long as Grogu allows you. Like,
this is true.
Or choking you. It's like whatever, bro. Leave me alone. So
you yell at him one too many times, you're going to wake up dead.
Yeah,
that's how dying works.
That is usually how it works in all universes.
Yes. Okay, Spotchka. So Spotchka, we've heard Spotchka referenced a couple times. Greef Karga says it on Navarro. In season 2, they talk about it on Tatooine. It's a drink, and this is where I have some contention with Wikipedia. Okay.
Uh-oh. Whoa, you're calling the big dogs now. Like you're calling Wikipedia. Like, wow, it's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, seeing as how I have like 4 followers on social media, and half of them are just me under different names, I have nothing to lose here.
We're gonna have to cue the last chat back out. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm ready.
So, there they talk about Spotchka being made from krill, and that's all based on the fact that these guys are krill farmers and these guys brew Spotchka. I don't think that we have to explicitly say that Spotchka is made from krill. This version of Spotchka may involve krill, but from what I'm seeing of Spotchka, that it's just kind of like mead or beer, or like it's a generic term for a kind of alcoholic beverage, not like a specific alcoholic beverage. Like, and I don't drink a lot. Okay, I will say that I don't drink any alcohol. That just personally.
I don't drink a lot, and by a lot I mean none.
None. That's right. But I've heard other people talk about drinks, and you can, like, it's not like Spotchka is a specific brand, right? You've got alcohol that can be made out of different grains, corn versus potatoes versus barley, right? So, and yeah, they will have different names based on different types, but I don't think you can have a krill-based alcohol, right? And this is clearly an alcoholic beverage. So maybe this alcohol is simply flavored with this krill. I think they use this krill for other things. They have a lot of blue clothing. The krill is blue. I think that they use the dried krill to stain clothes. I don't know. That's my thought. So I just think that Wikipedia might be overreaching a little bit. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I just think it might be an overreach.
As a defender of all things Wikipedia, not really, but just to play that role, Spotchka was a beverage that could be created from the creatures known as krill. So, to be fair,
but could has more than one definition, right? It could mean maybe, or that, or it could mean using the word could in the sentence. It might mean maybe, but it also might mean that it's a drink that comes from it. Like, I don't know. Just
okay.
has
Here's another one. Follow the rescue of Dinjarin's foundling, Grogu, from Gideon's Imperial remnant. The elite assassin Fennec, I can't say her last name, Fennec, drank from a bottle of spotchka after she and the bounty hunter Boba Fett seized control of Jabba's palace from Bib Fortuna.
Right.
The cantina in Mos Pelgo on Tatooine, operated by...
That's the one I remembered with Cobb.
Okay. So, if I'm understanding correctly here...
I'm just saying, would you drink a shrimp-based drink?
I like seafood, so that's kind of an unfair question.
Oh, okay. Let's see you go boil some shrimp in water and then drink that water. You know, I'm fine with the hot dog, but I'm not drinking the hot dog water.
Well, I mean... This is Outer Rim people. Like they this is not. I know you're a big city guy. I'm a country boy. I'm a redneck. You know, we do a little different out in the sticks. But you're Coruscant. I'm Outer Rim. Just to kind of put in perspective, okay? And we just do things differently. So
yeah, I find it hard to believe that all spotchka comes from krill. I don't know. That's just something I think might be an overreach there. Also, the fact that you are crow farmers and brew spotchka, like, I know people that ride horses and drive a car. They're not sitting on a horse in the front seat of the car.
I think they're doing it because it's the blue, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not dying on the Krill Hill. That's your battle. Okay. I'm just telling you what Wikipedia said. It said could.
People deserve the truth, Ryan.
Listen, Dave Filoni, John Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy, Mark Hamill. Come on, we'll take care of this.
That sounds good. All right, so he's in the village and he's being super nice to this random lady.
That was the longest spotchka conversation ever recorded on a podcast. I'll be willing to
bet. Guinness Book of World Records, call us up. We got an entry.
We got it right. Longest spotchka conversation
on a podcast.
On a podcast. Yeah. Well, a live stream.
On a live stream. See, you want to be as specific as possible. That way, it's harder.
On a Sunday night, 10 p.m. Central Time live stream.
There we go. Call us Guinness.
Yeah, we got it, Scott. We got it.
Speaking of alcoholic drinks, Guinness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, all right. So he's in the village. He's being super nice to this random lady. Who has he said thank you to before? What has made us think that he would say thank you to people? Like, I get that, like, he has no reason to be rude to her, but I feel like his default mode is going to be not to say thank you for things.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he's very trusting with the kid, that he's letting the kid, like, go outside of arm's reach.
But see, I don't think that the father-son thing has connected with him yet.
Oh, and you might be true, because he was willing to leave Grogu in the bar.
Yeah. I think the kid is more, I think he's fond of the kid. There's something there with the kid that intrigues him. He's probably pushing back on the attachment he has with the kid. But I think for him, the father-son thing is there.
I think you're right. And then he takes his helmet off, where anybody could turn around and see him.
Right. Like,
it makes no sense. When's the last time you took this off? Yesterday. No, in front of people. Oh, in 30 seconds after you leave.
Well, so yeah, I forgot. It's so weird. I've seen this so much, and I forgot that scene was there. Because the big reveal at the end of the season with the droid, it was the big thing, and I wasn't quite sure. He just had to talk about his childhood, right? Mm-hmm. And so, he's connecting with the children playing, because that's when his parents died and all that. So there's the connection there. But it's like you're saying. The kids could just turn around. Grogu could turn around. Anybody could turn around and boop, it's done. So I didn't get that.
Me neither. Really liked the line. Favorite line of the episode. Bad news. You can't live here anymore.
Oh, time. I figured it out. They're laying the foundation that he will take off the hat for Grogu.
Well, yeah, I know they're showing the breakdown of
That's,
him.
yeah,
He broke rules in the last episode. He's starting to break more rules, and they're building to that, but it also seems weird and out of place.
maybe the kids don't count. I don't know.
They,
I,
kids are
I don't.
people.
Or
They're
or
almost like
or
little people, like smaller versions of people
or. Let me ask you
that will
this.
one day grow to be larger people.
So let me ask you this. This is a conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat time. What if actually he wants the kid to see him, the kids to see him, so that he has a justification to take it off down the road?
Oh, and or in his words, never put it back on. If somebody sees him, he can never put it back on.
Yeah, that's weird because does he put it on at the end of season 2 or does it stay off? I couldn't remember. How does season 2 end? Does it end?
We don't see him with it back on.
So it stays off. Okay.
Yeah, but again, by that time, we've learned that he is part of a subsect of Mandalorians who have some extremist
Oh,
opinions.
wait. He puts it back on after the guy sees him at the Imperial base.
Yes, he does. He does. But I mean, by that time, he's breaking all the rules.
All right. So I think here's what I'm saying. I think this is a logical progression. He takes it off. The kids will probably see him. They're probably paying attention. So let's just take it off. Well, the kids aren't going to say anything. They don't care. Like, what would they say? Nothing because they don't care. They're playing. So
I saw his face. Yeah,
yeah,
they wouldn't know.
to them, it's a nothing. It's a non-starter. It doesn't matter. So he takes the helmet, takes it off there, and then by the end of the season, he's kind of fighting that tendency. He hates droids, all that stuff, and then by the time he gets to later on, he's already kind of done it. So I don't know. Just spitballing here.
No, like I said, it makes sense for the point of the story. I just wasn't 100% sold on the character doing it. But I hear what you're saying. Let's see. Now she admits it's a big planet. Okay. The ATST. She's seen an ATST take out entire companies of soldiers in minutes. Where? When? These Ewoks were epic. They a whole flock of ATSTs.
Yeah, it's like okay, I've seen Ewoks take down lore, so y'all suck. Like y'all really suck.
So yes, the ATST are all-terrain scout transport, right? Which they are ATSTs, not ATs or whatever. Don't call them AT-ATs. I guess the Bucks want to get on. Don't call AT-ATs AT-ATs. They're AT-ATs.
That I like
Anyway.
that.
Okay. we've got this ATST. Apparently, it's a big bad killing machine. Even though we recently saw it 9 years prior to this event get destroyed by teddy bears in the woods that were completely unprepared. They didn't have to.
Whoa! How dare you?
Calling the Ewoks teddy bears?
How dare you?
I mean, I like the Ewoks.
Bro,
they ate all those stormtroopers.
Cow. My man, have you watched episode 6?
Yeah. That's my favorite of all 9 of them.
Okay. You've watched episode 6 then?
Yes.
And you're calling these teddy bears.
Okay. I'm being a little facetious. It's not their exact.
That's not
Theodore Roosevelt did not exist in the Star Wars universe.
I'm just saying
they weren't Wookiees. They are chubby. They have stubby arms and legs. They live
a legion of stormtroopers. They ate them. They bowled
I said that. I said that they ate the stormtroopers. And also the moon of Endor, as we see in like Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor, there is some crazy stuff going on Endor, and some really dangerous creatures.
They built their living quarters in like the tallest trees in the forest.
Well, they had to because of all the killing machines on the forest ground.
I know. So like these are when you say not prepared, these are survivors. These are this is like the Velociraptor of the Star Wars galaxy.
Okay, they weren't prepared, but also think about like Native Americans. Okay, Native Americans had a lot going for them, and then people with guns came around. And
I'm sorry.
Ewoks
are better. What do we say?
Well, okay, I'm not trying to compare them that way. I'm just saying that as good as you may be with a bow and arrow, when a gun comes at you, when guns start shooting, it's gonna put you off. It's gonna take out people. You can't prepare for it. You can't prepare for something you can't imagine, right? And so the Ewoks, they weren't prepared for these giant metal monstrosities. But I mean, they did. They had traps and other things in place for other dangers, and so they could adjust to it. I'm just saying, if the Ewoks can take them out, and they took out so many of them, I think that these people on this planet should have been able to figure it out a little bit quicker. That's all I'm saying.
Two things. First, as the representative of the Ewok delegation of the Third Brigade of Ewoks in Granbury, Texas, how dare you? We are offended on behalf of all Ewoks everywhere.
My apologies. The thing that's most upsetting about this is that you have come out more in favor of Ewoks than I have, and I've been defending Ewoks for years to people. And now
you're no longer allowed the club. You've lost it.
I have failed.
You have failed.
I'm sorry, Wicket.
Yeah. Poor Wicket. It's too soon. Okay. But the other thing is the Ewoks. So to your point, in an open field battle, obviously I'm being a little bit facetious with the Ewok stuff, but in an open field battle, the Imperial weapons would have a huge advantage, like we saw in Scarif, right? So Scarif, you have this open field battle, and you had to bring in X-wings to kind of save the day, basically. But they could do okay, but they were mowing them down on Scarif, and so it takes kind of this unconventional warfare from the Ewoks, and the same thing on Hoth. On Hoth they were getting mowed down, and so they had to get the harpoon hook out and tied around. So the Imperial weapons seem to be great to fight against people who want to fight them. It's like in in the movie The Patriot, when Mel Gibson's fighting the turncoats, it's like you can't. That's the redcoats. He goes, you can't fight them in open field. Like that's where they're the best at. And so it seems when the rebels try to fight them in the open field, that's where they struggle, which is probably what Cara Dune has seen. And when you get these kind of guerrilla warfare tactics, the Imperial weapons aren't made to battle that. Obviously, the Ewok stuff is a little bit, funny, but I think that's kind of the premise there. And if you listen to George Lucas talk about who the Empire was and who the rebels were and stuff like that, I think there's something there to that as well.
Oh, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I just didn't think, like, for me, watching it, and again, I know I'm watching from outside the universe, the ATST doesn't seem like a deal breaker, especially because he has a disruptor rifle.
I think it was the money, wasn't it?
The money?
Yeah, because well, I mean, they're not fighting for a cause. That's their whole deal. They said if you said
he was fighting for anonymity. That was his price.
But I'm saying, like, they right, and so, but she specifically says, well, they said we gave you our money. He's like, well, right, you didn't tell us there's this involved. And so the work and the effort to deal with this was not worth the risk that if they lost, I think was what they were saying.
Fair enough. They did call it lunch money. So we see the training montage. Montages are a great way to show passage of time and progression of story. Big fan of the montages. The lady he was being nice to, the one who really got focused on in the intro, she knows how to shoot somehow. She's a widow of some sort. So
yeah, we found out like random truth bombs about her. She's a widow and she can shoot. Are those connected? Like, no one asked that question. A widow that can shoot, like, no wonder Mando's like, no, I'm good. I don't want to date her. Like, I'm fine. I don't want to be around shooting widows. I'll pass.
Yes.
Only shooting widow, just to be clear. The only shooter period in the whole village.
Yes, the only one who was like, I know how to shoot people.
Yeah. And I'm a widow. Just saying. Just random facts.
But they do get convinced to stay and help, right? Pretty easily. It was pretty easy to convince them.
Yeah, they got big hearts.
And then so they invade the camp, and he's planting his little timer mines around, right? To use GoldenEye 007 terminology.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a great way to keep suspense and pressure on in the scene, to have that beeping that's, speeding up and everything. It's going to explode, and they're having to fight people, and you're just like, it's going to blow up. We know it's going to blow up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we get to see the fantastic entry of the ATST, where just it lights up in the dark and then gets big. And that was a really cool scene.
You think so?
I do. I thought that was really cool. Just the way the lights came on and it stood up
Yeah.
and
No.
then started chasing them.
I mean, as someone who endorses the senseless murder of Ewoks, I can see that.
I'm just saying it looked cool.
Yeah. I'm sure Wicket would disagree, but go ahead. Yeah. I'm just listen, Kyle. It's sensitive. It's a sensitive subject now.
I'm sorry. I now want to start naming other Ewoks, but we'll leave Wuta out of this. Anyways, so I think this is where I wrote down my notes on the ATST and how I think the Clutonians got it. I think they just raided and abandoned a sparsely populated base and then took it for their own uses. I think that's what makes the most sense on how they got this thing, because they're definitely not Imperial.
Well, and that also helps with the problem I have with the battle. Like they baited it to walking into the water, which was pretty childish. And it's like, why would an Imperial do that? It's like, okay, now you say that. Exactly. Yeah, they want an Imperial there.
Yeah.
In fact, if you were to back up, you'd have a better angle to shoot right there at the ledge.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get too close. That'd make it hard.
Yeah.
But then they draw it out. It chases them. It stops at the edge of the water. It doesn't fall into the trap. Right. And then my thought is, why not shoot it with the Ambam rifle? Like, why not shoot it with the Ambam? And it's a disruptor rifle. It's a pulse rifle. It shoots. Well, so she does, but before she shot it, I'm like, why not do that? It's basically a ion shotgun, is what these disruptor rifles are. That's why they vaporize carbon-based life forms. They vaporize that. But there are documented cases where disruptor pistols, which is the most common form of the disruptor weapon, which was outlawed by the Rebel Alliance and by the Empire, though both continue to use them, even though they set up their own laws against them, were these pistols, and those could take out an ATDP. Okay, so which is a precursor and smaller version of the ATST. My point is, we've seen ion cannons shoot Din and droids and other things, and it basically immobilizes them, as we see in season 2, a much larger ion cannon shooting a spaceship. It immobilizes it. So this disruptor pistol should be able to at least immobilize the ATST, or not disruptor pistol, disruptor rifle, be able to immobilize the ATST. And then, Dune shoots it and nothing happens. That was annoying.
Maybe they reinforced it.
Maybe.
Let's try here.
She did shoot inside of it, though, the second time, right?
Yes.
Right through the eye slit. Good stuff.
Convenient eye slit is convenient.
Yeah. My thought was, why would it step knowingly into the water? I know it's not an Imperial, but even me as not an Imperial would be like, I don't know how deep that water is. Why would I step in that? I would think build the trap in front of the water.
Yeah, it's like, hey, our whole plan is contingent on tricking someone to do the stupidest thing possible.
Mm-hmm.
We don't think better? Like just one step? No. Like just need one step better than the worst thing than the dumbest thing possible. No, nothing. Literally nothing.
I'm thinking a deep pit with some leaves on top.
Thank you very much. And even not for both feet, just for like 1 foot, just to kind of get a little whoppy jawed and then just go push it over. Like that's even more plausible than to get to walk into the water.
I concur.
Yeah.
I concur.
That would be fun, though, to see it like one leg to go down like 8 feet. It's just like trying to get up, but can't. Yeah, that
doesn't know what to do. Well, would it have been better to kill the people inside and then let the village have the ATST for their own defense instead
Again,
of blowing it up?
they went with the worst idea possible. They said, "Here, we need the worst idea possible with the lowest chance of success," and they pulled it off. So anything else would have worked far easier, but they decided not to choose that. It also goes to the fact that maybe Cara Dune's the reason that everybody got mowed down was because she's not a good tactician. Like maybe, maybe they're like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna line up in a line and we're gonna shoot at this thing. You know, maybe it's a little insight into why she saw so much death in the
That's why
battle.
she had that early retirement. They
Yeah.
were just like, look, every time you go out, a lot of people on our side die.
Listen, I know
You get the bad guys, but we got a little too much collateral damage.
what they call it all of the games, like your kill rate or whatever. You know, your teammate kill rate's pretty high, like it's 100%. So if tell you what, you've done your duty. I know the Emperor's out there. He's coming back episode 9. Theron's out there. We got a lot of work, but we'll take care of it. Thank you.
That was my other thought. The Empire is still out there. There are known Imperial warlords in this time period of the universe. Put her to work. Why'd she retire? She had to retire voluntarily.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah. So think about it like this. Let's say that you were a soldier in World War II, okay? And Hitler's dead, and you're in the European theater, and you have taken Germany, and they say to you, okay, Kyle, listen, for the next 3 or 4 years, you can chase down all of the generals that were in Hitler's army, or you can go home. Some might say, probably a lot of people can go home. So I think that's probably what happened. Like the big,
Right. But
the big,
if those generals had personally killed my family or ordered the death of my family or maybe my entire planet, then I would be inclined.
They died on the first Death Star.
But they didn't. Not everybody who was there for Alderaan blowing up died on the Death Star.
But Tarkin did, and he's the main guy.
Tarkin did, and he was the main guy. I will give him that. I don't know. Being who she is, like I know plenty of guys, a oddly high number of people that I went to school with in high school. Well, kind of went to school with. I was homeschooled. People I knew in high school. Part of my church youth group went into the Marines, and there's at least one who stays in it because he just loves being a Marine. Mm-hmm. And I think that's supposed to be her character type. Like she's supposed to love being this person. Maybe that's me reading her wrong.
Well, unfortunately, we won't get to find out because it looks like they're going to cancel her character. So
we'll see. Who knows? Something else will happen on social media and people will forget all about it.
You think she'll make it to season 3?
I think she'll be in Rangers of the New Republic.
Much faith you have.
Yeah. I don't think she'll be in season 3 of The Mandalorian, but I think she'll be in Rangers of the New Republic. And that's why she's not in the artwork for the next season.
Right. Listen, Filoni, Favreau, Lucas, Hamill, whatever you have her do, she cannot be a tactician. Unless you're just going to get rebels slaughtered at will. Like, she cannot be a tactician. We've seen her skills. They're not very good. She can be like a Lone Ranger pilot, or like the third in command who's always frustrated with the plan and occasionally has a good idea, or just like the lead scout on a team that goes in, kicks the door down. She cannot be the military strategist.
No, she's a brute force person.
Yes.
That's who she is.
Right. And unless she has an epiphany, it's like, hey, listen, I saw tens of thousands of people die because I was doing it the wrong way. So here's what's gonna work. Here's my plan. Do the opposite. So if that's what they're going, then I can see that. But
yeah, do you remember what we did in Panama? Yeah, everybody else died, right? So we're going to do the
opposite of that. Yeah, opposite. So, but I'll say this, and I've been critical of her character. I don't care about the politics and stuff like that. I try to say the politics of the actors. I watch shows of, so I don't really care one way or another what she's saying. I still don't find her character that great. So, do you find her? Do you enjoy her character? Like, I won't be sad if the show doesn't bring her back because I don't enjoy her character that much.
Yeah, no, for me, it's take her or leave her. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, agreed. Okay.
So they win. and then Grogu tries to eat a frog.
Thank you. That's where I want to pick up at.
Okay. Thank you for sticking with me for the last hour while we got to the pinnacle of this episode, where Grogu starts to eat a frog.
Sorry.
Oh, the question here is, does he spit it? After he spits it out, it looks like he shakes his head. So I can't decide. Did he spit it out because he didn't like it? I figured he spit it out because of the other children's reaction.
Yeah. And then he force choked it. The camera pans away. He force chokes it. Force brings it to himself and then eats it when they turn around. He's like, "Go look!" And, he force knocks a tree down. Everyone turns, eats the frog. Let me tell you something about this guy. These frogs are like fully extended the length of his body. I don't know what the digestive system is of the Yoda species, but it's got to be serious because I mean, seriously, the frog
eating him alive too.
Yeah, he's a gangster. He's a gangster, man. He is not no vegetarian. He's not no soy boy. He is straight up swamp frog. Give it here.
Yes. Oh, and when we see him with the Karnaks in season 2, where he's just like eating the baby spiders and they're just like licking his fingers like it's fried chicken.
Yeah. So that makes you wonder: is there any responsibility on Mando when Frog Lady is on his ship? He's like, like every time you check on this dude's eating frogs. Listen, your eggs and you are in danger.
100% of the time he's been on a planet with a frog. He's tried to eat a frog.
He's tried to eat a frog.
We know.
Yes.
So I do wonder how much of this is an acquired taste because he was not treated the best. Maybe frog was what he could catch when he was being held captive. You know, I like the idea that Yoda went to Dagobah because he wanted an active smorgasbord, but maybe Grogu has just been abused and it's like the guys who were prisoners of war and they ate rats. And now it's like, I don't know if I want those French fries. There's a rat over there.
I think the frog thing, because of what happened in season 2, it has enough that they might fill us in later on. Like it's come up several times, and then you have the frog lady deal, and so it comes up, and then didn't eat the frog after frog lady, like another frog. I can't remember. Anyways, it's come up enough that makes you wonder if they will tap in.
A lizard.
Maybe it's a lizard. Yeah. It makes you wonder in season 3 if I don't need an episode exploring the origins of him eating frogs, but will there be a throwaway line or a passing comment or Luke like why eating the frogs? Or, I don't know, or like him eating a frog and Ahsoka's like, oh my god, he's eating a frog. Like, yeah, Vader told him to do that or something. I don't know.
Or I'm thinking some line in the Ahsoka series where she's just like, oh, those were Yoda's favorites.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It can be throwaway. It does not have to be.
She's just walking through a swamp and she sees a frog and she's like, Master Yoda would have loved it. And then she just keeps walking and just like no context.
Exactly.
Connect these dots.
Yes, exactly. Agreed. 100%.
All right. So then they hang out for a few weeks in this village. Things seem pretty good. I guess they wanted to hang around, make sure the raiders didn't come back if any of them fled. But they stayed around for a few weeks and things were good. And then they didn't go well. And somebody with a tracking fob came, and Mando's even saying, like, news travels fast. How would the news travel if you killed all those people and destroyed the ATST? How would the village that's a full day's journey away find out that you're there? And this
I think
it doesn't have a spaceport.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. So if you land by the other, you would land by the other village, right? And so you'd land by the other village, and you say, "Hey, have you seen a dude with a silver Beskar helmet?" Like, yeah, he went to the other village. So,
there's that. But how would you think to go to that planet? I mean, you had to be real good at guessing.
The fob.
But the fob doesn't work from planet to planet.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely.
I need more explanation of how these fobs work.
Okay, listen, I'm with you, but in the very first episode, he goes to meet Balboa, Apollo Creed. And Apollo Creed gives him a fob, and he goes like another planet on that ice planet and goes and gets the guy and then brings him back. We had this discussion then. And we're like, how did...
he's given kind of like a last known place and that kind of thing. Like
He
when he
walks
goes to
into
the
the bar.
client. I'm sorry.
He walks into the bar. He knows who he is.
Well, yeah, because he has a puck for him that shows his face and on all
Oh,
this
he
info
did.
on it.
That's right.
He
That's
didn't
true.
get a puck. He didn't get a puck for the child,
No,
but
that's true.
the client says we have a last known location and a tracking fob, and that's what he gives them. And so he could get onto the planet. I think somebody would have to be on the planet of Sorgan for the tracking fob to work.
So how did he find? So you think when he landed at Tatooine, he did not know where to go? He needed the Ugnaught to tell him.
Wait, what do you mean?
The child's on Tatooine, right? Originally in episode
No,
one. What
no,
planet?
that was not Tatooine.
What was that? What was that?
I don't know what planet that was.
Okay, whatever desert planet they were on.
Yeah,
I thought it was Tatooine.
I am 99% sure that it
Okay,
is not.
you're right. You're right. You're right. Okay. When they land there, you think that he needed the Ugnaught to show him where the child was?
I think that he needed to get to that planet for the tracking fob to start working. I don't think that he could stand on Tatooine or that he could stand on Navarro and then point the fob around and be like, "Oh, it's a planet in this direction."
What good's the fob?
That when you get to the planet, it can tell you what direction the person is in. You know, it's like beep, beep.
How do you know
beep,
what
beep,
in
beep.
the first episode? Was he told?
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
How did he know to go to the planet then?
Oh, the client says we have a last known location.
Okay. Yeah.
The target is 50 years old. We have a last known location and a tracking fob. That should be good enough for someone of your reputation.
Okay. You're right. Right. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
I like those words.
I got you. What?
Oh, you just said I was right a bunch of times.
No, listen.
I don't hear that a whole lot in my personal life.
Let's get this.
People don't talk to me about Star Wars because then things like this happen.
Okay, in the IMDb synopsis, it says the Mandalorian travels to the desert planet. Um,
Yeah, I don't think it's Tatooine.
No, I think you're right. It doesn't say on the synopsis, at least on IMDb. So we will point Kyle.
That works.
The universe, so I just kind of assume everything happens there.
No, that's the thing is like when people saw Finn take his helmet off, they're like, "Is that Lando's son?" It's like, come on, guys. This is a much bigger universe. Not every desert planet is Tatooine. Not every ice planet is Hoth. You know,
One of them are,
but one of them are. That is true. One of them are.
Well, basically all the same. Jakku, Tatooine. Meh.
See, we've already seen multiple desert planets. Let's see. Oh, Mando gets dark when Dune is like, oh, he's gonna whatever, he's gonna miss you. And he's like, he'll get over it. We all do. It's like, wow.
Yeah, there's the father-son thing, and he doesn't want to.
Yeah. And then I noticed at the end that a droid was pulling the sled.
I missed that.
The transport sled. It was just like the one on Navarro that he had to yell at a few times, and that we see later on. So these droids with transport sleds, that's a popular thing. But we didn't see him comment on it this time.
I missed that. Good catch.
And I thought the concept art was really cool. The ATST looked even cooler in the concept art than it did in the show. But just overall, the village, just everything in the concept art looked really beautiful. So I thought that was really cool.
Indeed.
Yeah. And that's the whole episode.
So let me see. I had one other thing I was going to ask you about.
Yes.
Oh, what's your rating?
I'm sorry?
Where would you rate this one? Let me do it this way. So we're 4 episodes in. Rank the first 4 episodes.
Oh, rate the first 4 episodes. Okay. Number 1, I would rate as because that was my reaction after seeing.
No, No, rank them. What like of the first four, which one's the
which one's my favorite? I thought you were going on a scale of 1 to 10, and
no, no. So like of the first four, which one you like the most? Which one you like the least?
Okay, the first one. Which one do I like the most? Which one do I like the least? Interesting. I think I like the first one the most.
Agreed.
And then the second one the least.
Agreed. Okay. You're smart man.
Now, these two, though, last episode and this episode are tough. I think I liked last episode better than this episode. Yeah.
I like this.
And I just got a low battery notification on my laptop, and I don't have my charger up here.
Well, we're about to wrap. I was done. I was asking about that. So I would say, yeah, I think this one's a little bit better because I just appreciated the father-son stuff. Some of the other stuff that we've seen, it feels like it actually makes a little bit more sense. They are going to lay low. That's the whole objective. They can't lay low. There's some questions about the stupidity with the water and all that stuff, but generally this one kind of makes more sense. Whereas last one it was okay, but it just didn't make as much sense. So this felt like a proper step in the journey, which is, hey, we're just gonna try to hide out, just try to get away, and we can't do that. So that makes sense. Helping the people in the village, you got to have a reason to do something. So I can live with that. And drinking grilled beer is always a plus in my book. So
good deal. Okay, you said at the beginning of this that you had something you wanted to bring up at the end. What was that?
Oh, how much battery time do you have left?
Well, here I've got a solution. Give me just a second.
What I just booted him. Let's see here. Which one do you want? This one? Is that the one you want to come in on?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right, so I booted your other guy. He's gone. There we go. So I've been watching The Expanse, and I think I figured out kind of the problem with The Mandalorian that I have a little bit more finally. So in The Expanse,
So you don't pay attention? No, I'm sorry. Please continue. I'm sorry. Was that too harsh?
No, it was lovely, but I hate you.
I'm just saying you brought that up a couple times this episode. That otherwise I wouldn't have said that.
Well, anyways, where was I at? In The Expanse, they make it very clear from maybe at the first episode. They spent it's 5 seasons, I think, but a few episodes in, they make it very clear that there is this thing out there. They're trying to figure out this thing, and there's this thing, and the thing's the whole point of the show. And you understand that's kind of season 1 they're trying to figure out this part, season 2 this part, season 3 this part, and there's obviously more characters. It's a universe that is all encompassing. It's not just Mandalorian and Grogu. But the thing I've noticed is that they do a good job because there are a lot of missions on it, kind of like there are on this one. And so, for instance, there was a 3-4 part episode arc where they picked up the scientist and his daughter was missing, and they go to find his daughter, and but through that process, all of those episodes add to the overall story. So it's a side mission. They were going to do this, and they get diverted to do this, and there's conflict with the character and their growth. That's very apparent. It's very clear that the characters, fighting over whether this is the right way to go about it. And all of these things happen, and then you have the arc with the daughter, and I'm sure folks can imagine the daughter is saved. That's how it goes in every TV show ever, just about. So no big spoiler there, but there's a lot of stuff in that. And the other thing about The Expanse is it brings in characters that are very important, you think, and then they die. Like
I love when they do that and shows.
I know. So like we might have this podcast, we do 5 episodes, and Kyle dies, and then we have a new host. And you're like, whoa! I thought Kyle.
Man.
Yeah, look, Kyle is really important here. Now he's not, and so you don't know. Obviously, you have your core characters that are the main 4 that are the show's built around. But outside of that, you really feel like at any moment a character could die, and so I think the Mandalorian, what it struggles from is it's too focused on two people, and so it really struggles to bring in. So if there was a little bit more Moff Gideon or a little bit more, I don't like Cardoon's character, but Cardoon or whatever, and you can kind of see how what's happening over here isn't necessarily tied into this, but this is happening, and then like 4 episodes later, it's like, oh, okay, so
Yeah, so you wish it was more about the Mandalorian and friends, or the Mandalorian and co, not just the Mandalorian.
well, I'll say this: it's not always apparent why the Mandalorian needs to do what he does. So even if you want to keep it just the Mandalorian, they need to do a better job of showing you why this is relevant to what you're watching. And a lot of the Mandalorian is not. And so this show does a good job of it, but it seems that it's crucial for this show to bring in external characters that aren't part of the main plot. And sometimes they're
Maybe we should chalk this up to J.J. Abrams' influence.
He's on the Mandalorian?
No, but he was a big part of the Star Wars sequel series and them keeping things a mystery, and Marvel likes to do that, and Disney likes to do that, and now Star Wars likes to do that, where they like to keep everything mysterious.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind the mystery. It's just that you know, you said you might watch the expand. So when you watch it, I'm curious your thoughts. And they don't have to expand the universe. They don't have to bring in 47 side plots. I'm just saying, just watching that show, you really appreciate even just the main characters. How
But sorry, keep going.
No. I was
Every one of these episodes has built out the Star Wars universe in some way, and maybe not in something that we consider critical to this story, though later it may become critical, like him running into Cara Dune.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
She comes back later, plays a
Mhm.
big role, and him, what's it called? Just everything. Whether it's okay, the death of the Mudhorn, didn't enjoy it, but we got to see Grogu use his powers.
Right.
The fact that those powers are there, that's how they showed it.
Right. No, so yeah, I think you're right that it does. Once you've seen it all, some of it makes more sense.
I hear what you're saying though. Like if you got to see some other side of the story, and then you got to see like, oh, that's why. Instead, we just see Moff Gideon like show up out of nowhere, and we're
Right.
just like, who's this guy?
Right.
But I think that's what they want in the series. I think that they want you to just be following the Mandalorian and kind of trust in the process. And then when stuff happens, you got to kind of roll with it the same way that he's got to roll with it because he doesn't know these other things are happening.
Have you seen the show Justified?
I have not seen Timothy Oliphant's Western lawman epic Justified.
Okay. There's obviously a lot more characters in that as well, but it is a lot of his story. Of course, as the season goes on, there's more characters, but very, very early on, it's his story. But you do see the bad guys, kind of what they're doing and what's going on, which makes you have something for them. Moff Gideon, like you say, he just shows up. And if you go to, we'll cover this in a few episodes, they're like the stormtroopers are almost kind of mocking him, like, oh, he's shooting another guy. Oh, he's, that he's not really taking it even seriously. So, in his first appearance, from what I remember. So, anyways, that was it. That's it. I'm done. Watch the Expanse.
I think it's a good point. I think that they want something different. I think that they want the audience to be off guard with it. I think that's a turnoff for people like you, and I think that it doesn't matter to people like me. But I think that for a lot of people, it keeps them guessing. To compare it to another Disney Plus original, WandaVision. A lot of people are confused about WandaVision right now. And I think they're using that to try to keep people engaged with it being a subpar show. I think they had some fears about this show and how well it was going to catch on because this is the first time that they've tried a live action Star Wars TV show. And I think it was a bit of a risk for them. And yes, putting a cute baby in it definitely made it less risky for them. But I think that they were trying to hedge their bets a little bit by layering the mystery and keeping people off guard.
We do agree that without Yoda, Grogu, whatever, the show would not have made it past season 1, right? If it had been a young Force user, male, female, whatever, humanoid, just regular human, that wouldn't have done it. If it would have been,
No, but I think that if it were what I had thought the show was going to be, I think it would have made it past season 1.
the Wookiee.
No. Where it was going to be no babies, no children. Where it was just going to be kind of a job of the week type thing, where we got to see him just go be a cool, kind of bad guy every week doing something new on different planets, and like, oh, he's got to go to Coruscant and kill somebody. Oh, he's got to go to Tatooine and rescue somebody who's been kidnapped.
NCIS, basically.
Yeah, just one of those procedural shows.
Yeah. Okay, maybe.
I think that would have survived. But yeah, had it been, the grandfather of Broom Boy, no.
Yeah, agreed.
No.
All right. Well, that's all I got, Kyle. I am done.
Well, I my apologies to everybody on my terrible video and audio quality. And my appreciation to Ryan Ray for his laugh track and other contributions as well.
Thank you, Kyle. It was good to be here, folks. If you could, please go download the podcast, give it a 5-star rating and review wherever you might find your podcast at. Share it with your friends. Let them know that if they want to hear hour-long talks of, what was the beer? Scotcha. Spotchka, and other cool stuff, they can find it at the Hey Mando podcast or thetalkinggeek.com or outpost23.net.
May the force be with you.
The Ewoks are still mad.